Okay, hello everybody. We're gonna go through this probable cause affidavit with Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell. Just trying to get set up here. We're gonna go over the probable cause affidavit. Okay. So we have here is the state of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell. Okay, and we've got just the basics right here where it says who's giving this sworn statement for the probable cause affidavit. Okay, this is Detective Ron Ball. Okay, and he's with the Rexburg Police Department. Okay, he's been sworn under oath. The information that he's going to give is correct. It states that he's a detective with the Rexburg Police Department and have been employed in law enforcement for more than 27 years. That he's currently a lieutenant over investigations. I'll scroll down here for the Rexburg Police Department. Okay. And this just goes on to give his credentials. Okay. And then we're going to get to that he respectfully asks the court to take notice of PC affidavit in Madison County, case number CR, which means criminal 33-20-0302, a copy of which has been attached. Okay, he goes on to say that since November 26th, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department has been involved in the search for J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, gives their birth dates, the minor children. Mother Lori Vallow has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing, and a misdemeanor count of solicitation to commit a crime, and 1 misdemeanor count of contempt. Okay, the contempt charge is for failing to comply with an order in a child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, to protect JJ and Tylee. To the Rexburg Police Department or the Department of Health and Welfare. She was required to produce the children by January 30th, 2020. Tylee, 17 at the time she went missing, and JJ was 7 at the time he went missing. Okay. Now it goes on to say that Chad Daybell was president in Kauai, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, Hawaii, on February 20th, 2020, when Lori Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges. That this officer was present at that arrest. Daybell was also present at the March 6th initial appearance in Madison County, Idaho. As such, I know that Chad Daybell was aware of the felony charges directly related to the location, health, and well-being of the minor children named above. Okay. He goes on to say that since November 26th, the Rexburg Police Department, along with the FBI, have been investigating the location and whereabouts of the 2 minor children. The last variable sighting of Tylee was on September 8th, 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. The last viable sighting of JJ Vallow was September 22nd, 2019 at his mother's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175 in Rexburg, Idaho, by Lori's friend Melanie Gibb. While the Rexburg Police and FBI have received many tips of alleged sightings since the beginning of the case, none of these tips have led to any viable or actionable information regarding the health, safety, or location of the minor children. Okay. So it goes on to say that Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg on about September 1st, 2019 with her children Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Vallow, and her brother Alex. Lori resided with her children at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175. Alex resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Lori and then moving into his own unit, number 107. Okay, both in Rexburg, Idaho. Okay, it goes on to say that Lori Vallow's close friend Melanie Gibb has cooperated with Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. It says that Melanie Gibb has reported that from September 19th through the morning of September 23rd, she visited Lori Vallow at her residence in Rexburg, Idaho. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Lori Vallow informed her that J.J. Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to an individual whose mortal spirit has left their body and that their body is now the host of another spirit. Wow. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo and is stuck there until the host body is physically killed. Well, as such, the death of the physical body is seen as a mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. Okay, you psychos. The belief was told to Gibb by Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow had learned it from Chad Daybell. Go figure. And immediately told Gibb. Gibb was present with Lori Vallow when Chad Daybell first taught Lori this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow. Wow. Okay, Melanie Gibb has further informed that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie in the spring of 2019. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mom." This arose out of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Okay, so Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Lori that they held the religious belief that they were a part of the Church of the Firstborn. And their mission in that church was to lead the 1,444,000 mentioned in the book of Revelation. They also stated their mission was to rid the world of zombies. Well, they were at the top of that list, as far as I'm concerned. On January 26, 2020, a search warrant was served at Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Cali, where I don't know how to pronounce that, so please bear with me, you guys. Where they were living and their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Lori in Hawaii, and no evidence was found to suggest they were living with Chad and Lori there. Okay. Through investigation, we have discovered that J.J. Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy School was informed that J.J. had an individual education plan due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for JJ. On September 23rd, 2019, JJ had an unexcused absence. On September 24th, 2020, 24th. Okay, this is a typo because we're not at September 24th, 2020 yet. So this should be saying on September 24th, 2019, Lori Vallow called Vicki Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October and maybe later. I'm surprised actually that this is in here. Like they made a big mistake here. Now, I don't know what kind of repercussions that's going to have. But I'm in the legal field, I'm a paralegal. So this to me is a big boo-boo. A big boo-boo. And like I said, I don't know what the repercussions of this is going to be. Like Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell's lawyers are going to jump all over this. Okay. We know that this is a boo-boo. It should have said 2019, but they are going to jump on that. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to this. On October 29th, Madison School District was informed that JJ would be homeschooled. So I'm assuming this is October 29th, 2019. Okay, during searches of Lori's apartment in Rexburg, okay, and searches in her apartment in Hawaii, no evidence of homeschool material was ever found. No other school district has ever requested JJ's records from the Madison School District. Okay, so as mentioned, as the last viable sighting of Tylee was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Photographs established that she was there with her mother Lori, her brother JJ, and her uncle Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. The trip was further established by tracking the GPS cell tower connections and Google account information on Alex's phone. I gotta make this a little bit bigger, guys, so I can see. Okay, so this here, number 14, just goes to talk about the Cellular Analyst Survey Team called CAST. It's an FBI unit that provides analysts of cellular phones. Okay. GPS data points used by CAST are considered to be highly accurate and can place the device within 6-meter radius. Okay. So the CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone Park at 1840. Okay, so this is on the 8th. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill, West Yellowstone, Montana, from 1845 to 1902. So from 5 minutes after he left Yellowstone, he was at this barbecue grill. Okay, from 1845 to 1902. Cox then returns to Rexburg at approximately 20:37. The phone is then at Lori's apartment number 175 until 21:35, so almost an hour, I guess. At which time Cox appeared to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg at 21:43 until 21:53, which is only like 10 minutes. So maybe he went to pick up food or something at the Maverick. I don't know what the Maverick is, so, because then Cox went back to Lori's apartment from 22:44 to 23:15. At 23:44, Cox is located at his residence, apartment 107. Okay, so half an hour. 23. Wait. So from 23:15 to 23:44, we have no idea where he is. That's like half an hour. It doesn't take him half an hour to go across the complex to get to his apartment. So there's a half an hour there that's unaccountable for. Okay, so on Monday, which is the following day from September 9th, from midnight. So he was at home at his apartment on the 8th until midnight. Okay, so September 9th would be midnight. Okay, so 12 a.m. to 44 minutes past, so 1:45 in the morning, he was at his apartment. However, at 2:42 a.m. to 3:37 a.m., Cox is located again at Lori's apartment, where Lori lived with JJ and Tylee. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Lori's between midnight and 6 a.m. Okay, so this is, they get home from Yellowstone Park. I'm assuming the kids go to bed, whatever, because he's at his apartment until 2:42. He leaves Lori's apartment and goes to his apartment, and he's there until 2:42 in the morning, but 2:42 to 2:37, he's at Lori's apartment. Okay, at 4:37 a.m., Alex went back to his own apartment, unit 107, until 8:59 in the morning. So this is now Monday morning. Okay, Sunday they were at Yellowstone. Okay, in the early morning hours of Monday, from 2:42 to 3:37 a.m., he's located at Lori's apartment. Then it's saying at 4:37 a.m., Alex went back to his own apartment, unit 107, until 8:59, so almost 9 a.m. Then at 9:21 a.m., he was located at a property with the address of 202 North, 1900 East Rexburg. So the very next morning, he went to Chad Daybell's. Okay. Okay, it should be noted that while at Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg, it is actually located in the Fremont County, Idaho. The 921 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home of Daybell's property near the east end of the barn. So at 921, he was at the east end of the barn. Okay. Alex Cox's phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39. So an hour. At 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. So he was at Chad Daybell's place for an hour, maybe? We know he was there at 9:21 in the morning. And the phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39. So he was there for a good hour. But at 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of Anthony. At this time, we were unable to tell if he was actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. It's a 5-minute drive from the Daybell residence. This could have also, they say here, this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at the Daybell residence. Okay, at 10:57, which is 10 minutes later to 11:39 a.m., Cox was located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 to 12:02, he was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of the day in his apartment. Okay, so he was there for an hour. Then this says, I'm thinking that from 9:21 till 11:30, so 2 hours, I think he was at the Daybell property. Then I'm thinking from 11:52 to 12:02, he was at Del Taco, so he probably went and picked up food, and then appears to spend the rest of the day at his apartment. So he was at the Daybell residence, I think, for 2 hours. Okay. Through the investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, search, and analyzed multiple cellular devices pursuant to several warrants. On June 1st, 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI, and the FBI had been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tammy Daybell. Tammy was Chad's wife and died on October 19th. Excuse me, you guys. Okay, the FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and her husband, Chad, on September 9th. Okay, so this is the Monday. Okay, this is the Monday, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee in Yellowstone Park. Okay, so this message looks like Chad sent this to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. So let's go back here. So Chad was still Alex was still on Chad's property till 11:39 a.m. Okay, and this was sent at 11:53 a.m. So this sounds to me that this is when Tylee could have been killed. Okay. Wow. Because he says, Chad to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. This is when Alex is still on his property. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the incoming storms. Well, we now know now, he's not lying here. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris. So he's calling Tylee debris. You sick SOB. By the fire pit before it got too soaked. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. So, I am getting this, that they shot her. Okay? They shot her. They dismembered her. Okay? Because he's burning all the limbs of the debris by the fire pit before it got soaked. Well, I did so. I spotted a raccoon. You are so full of crap, you SOB. Got shot. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He's talking about... I've gone through this affidavit already, guys, so... But you guys know that Tylee was dismembered, okay? This is what they were doing. He's had an interesting morning. So I believe that Alex brought her there and that Chad killed her. Okay, shot her. And then they dismembered her and burned her. Okay, so I believe this happened on the 9th. Okay, because it says he's now in our pet cemetery. Okay. And then Chad to Tammy again at 11:56. Going to shower now and then go right for a while at BYU. Love you. He had to shower because he probably had all kinds of blood and everything else all over him. Okay. Then Tammy replied in the afternoon, good for you. Chad to Tammy at 2:48. I'm back home now. So where was Tammy? She didn't seem too impressed here because her reply was hours later and it was good for you. Okay, it goes on to say that I found the text suspicious because raccoons are not normally animals that are not really out during the day, which they're not. They're usually animals that come out during very early morning hours or at night to prowl around. Okay, it should be noted that from interviewing the neighbors, Chad Daybell, we're aware that in mid-July of 2019, Garth Daybell, Chad's son, told neighbors that Chad had shot a raccoon out of a tree on the property during the day. Okay, he's saying that happened in mid-July. Okay, so maybe Chad used that as a reason why, they're going to find, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm sick right now. Okay, so Chad's son told their neighbors that Chad had shot a raccoon out of a tree on their property during the day. Those neighbors are named Matt and Reagan Price. Garth told Matt Price about the raccoon in response to a question from Matt about hearing a gunshot. The Prices informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Reagan's informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and the first one she noticed was soon after Tammy's death in October. Okay, but we know, stating back here, on September 9th, that there was a fire in that fire pit, okay, because he said that he was going to burn all the limb debris by the fire pit, okay? So we know that on September 9th, they burnt limbs, debris. Okay, but the first one that the neighbors noticed, they're saying it was after October 19th, after Tammy's death. Okay, so on June 2nd, 2020, Detective Bryce Spottingley of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Williams, who is a sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on Chad and Tammy Daybell's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people and that they both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. So on June 4, 2020, this officer again spoke with Samantha, and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had shown it to her. Okay, Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th, 2019. Okay, so Tammy was still alive when this happened with Tylee, okay? The above facts established that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th till at least 11:39 a.m. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning limb debris, it should say, and shooting and burying the raccoon in a pet cemetery only 15 minutes later at 11:53 a.m. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings of Alice Cox's phone on September 9th. Okay. On June 3rd, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend, David Warwick, in Pleasant Grove, Idaho. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd, 23rd of 2019. Okay, so this is from, we've heard about this before from the Melanie Gibb interview, where she states that she had stayed at Lori's. Okay, went to see her and stayed at her place with her husband. Okay, and she's saying here that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th. After she arrived, Lori informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie. Okay, and she tried to point out behaviors such as sitting still watching TV, claiming JJ said he loved Satan, and increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb said she observed JJ's behavior and felt it to be the same as she'd always observed JJ. Okay. They go on to say the last time Gibb and Warwick variably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Val, and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Okay, Warwick further informed us that when he woke up the morning of September 23rd, 2019, that he asked Lori where JJ was. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Okay. Lori informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry, had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick that Gibb that when JJ had climbed up on the cabinetry that he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator, Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had come and taken JJ. Okay, so they got up between 8 and 9. JJ was already gone. The FBI CAS team analyzed Cox's movements the morning of September 23rd by his GPS at 9:55. Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of his property. Okay. So this is probably when JJ was buried there, I'm thinking. Okay, so on June 3rd, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Raid of the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September. His response was, okay, we're going to make this smaller so you guys can kind of see it. As per your request, I checked the visit by Alex Cox to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. Those were on September 6th, 12:41 to 12:53. And then on the 9th, and the 23rd and the 25th from 10:05 to 10:22. During the 2 visits on 9/6 and 9/25, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes. Like the one on 9/23, 17 minutes. The visit on 9/9 was the only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. Okay, so that's when I believe the one on 9/9, the long visit of 2.5 hours, I believe was when they dismembered Tylee. Okay. On June 9th, the search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and the property. Okay. With the assistance of local FBI ERT team, we located at least multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified and corresponded with the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property mentioned in paragraphs 12 and 16. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to a location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 and 18. Okay, the first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond near the north edge of the property. The site corresponded with 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23rd. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The wheat growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding wheat growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2 feet. Okay, so that was, I believe, to be JJ. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath a layer of sod were several flat rocks. The rocks were removed. 2 pieces of flat paneling were found. Paneling was removed, and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. I don't know why these are different, but this is, I downloaded it exactly how it was, so okay, so upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. An FBI ERT member used a small sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. Wow. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. Okay. Shirley Anderson, Associate Professor of Anthropology of Boise State University, was present on scene and advised the remains found near the pond appeared to be human. Okay. A second site of interest was located behind a red unattached outbuilding located roughly in the center of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS signals of Alex Cox's phone on September 9th. So this is Tylee. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated that these additional bones and charred and uncharred and tissue found were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery to Sarah Getz, a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. Okay, we gotta zoom down a bit again here. Okay, so while officers were conducting their search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where officers were searching. He was observed watching officers while sitting in his vehicle in his driveway and while sitting in his vehicle across the street at his daughter's. Around the time the head mentioned in paragraphs 32 and 33 were discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. I and other officers pursued him in vehicles, conducted a traffic stop, and detained him due to the fact that human remains were discovered on his property. Okay. So that's the affidavit, you guys. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what to do with my camera here, so I'm just going to do this, you guys. Okay, so that is the probable cause affidavit. A lot was brought out that, you know, we kind of knew. This is probably why in one of my sessions, Ancestor read that JJ came out as being, yes, he was buried in a grave. That's why I believe that that came out, and I wasn't getting a lot on Tylee because Tylee was dismembered and burned. Okay, so that's why it did come out that JJ was buried, because by the sounds of this affidavit, his body was intact. Okay, whereas Tylee's was not. I mean, this is pretty sad. Okay, you guys, so I'm really sad, and I'm appalled, I'm horrified, I'm just at a loss. Okay, so I'm going to end this, and with that, I'm going to also tell you guys, make sure that you go to my other video. I'm going to post a link to that too, and you guys can subscribe and then enter into a contest for a free reading. Okay, so I ask you guys, do subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you guys are made aware when I do go live, and you guys are made aware when I do that draw for the 4 free lucky subscribers. Okay, with that, I'm going to end, you guys. Thank you very much for being with me during this stream, during this live, and we will see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.